What's up, everybody? This is the Information Man Show. Thank you for joining us today. I got Ray Alexander in the back. We have done these type of videos in the past where we've talked about relationships between black women and black men. We've talked about the relationships as it relates to the workforce. As everyone knows, black women are leading in terms of having the most degrees, in terms of master's degrees, going into STEM, going into engineering, going into tech. We're going to talk to you all today about this particular issue. I don't know how many of you have been rocking with me that long, but I was one of the first people on the YouTube streets that did a video with someone from Afrotech when Afrotech was really getting started. Now you say, what is Afrotech? Well, basically you have black women and black men that are going into the tech industry, that are creating innovative technology for the future. This is very important that we continue to examine what black people are actually doing. That's why we need to be we need to be more mindful of when we get on these social media platforms and we make claims about what black men or black women are not doing. We're spending a lot of time focusing on the low hanging fruit of black people who are not productive instead of focusing on those that are actually productive. I remember that Afrotech broke out, first of all, in Oakland, California, where I lived at one point in time. And it has grown and gotten bigger. I must say, too, and I think Ray, when I come over to Ray, will agree with me, is that you've had many social media conversations on panels over the years in terms of where men, black men, men in general, have said that women need to choose better. When we read about or we hear about instance where women, in this situation, black women, who have gotten themselves involved with maybe the wrong kind of guy. They've had kids and what have you. You've had people that have made those criticisms that, well, maybe women in general and black women specifically should, how do you say it? Should choose better, look for better prospects. There's even people who say that when you're young and you're in school, that you should be focusing on family first, although everybody wants to have a career, so that you won't end up 40 and 50 years old talking about you looking for a husband. In the case of Vivica Fox, of course, she's a celebrity, but in the case of Vivica Fox, you've heard people talk about Vivica Fox like a dog on these YouTube streets about how, she's 60 years old, talking about she trying to find that special somebody, a husband. And people will say, well, why couldn't she hold on to a man in her younger years? Why couldn't she hold on to a 50 cents? Just for example. So you will hear or have heard brothers say that women should choose better. Well, this is what's happening. This is the phenomena, and I'm going to bring Ray in. There's a phenomena in which there are black women who work within tech and don't work in tech that are showing up to these Afrotech conventions. I think they had one in Houston. They have them in different places every year. And they're going there specifically, particularly the women who are not working in tech. They're going there specifically to find a black man that can become a potential husband. But the question is, do those black men that you would call nerds, that you did not maybe want, you didn't want them at one time. Like, this is the stuff that you hear on YouTube. Well, you didn't want me when I was the nerdy guy. Now I've got clout. Now I got a great career. I've got money. I can go anywhere I want in the world. I'm making a damn good salary. Hell, I own my own tech company. And now these men, these black men, are now becoming desirable. At one point in time, they didn't have the clout to be that desirable. And the question is, do they have the right to poke out their chests and be choosy and picky because they weren't chosen at one time. They were, as some people would say, they were chosen, they were bypassed for the Pookies and the Ray Rays.
Tell the truth.
And so the question is now, are these black men that are working in tech, who are making high salaries, and the women are coming there, flocking to Afrotech conventions to sort of meet them, try to find a husband? Do these men, are these now men rejecting black women in these spaces that are doing these things? Has Afrotech become, this is a question I'm going to ask Ray, has it become one big giant party? Have we turned it into a party fest, a dating fest, versus it being a place for you to go and network, connect with your peers in tech, exchange ideas, build companies, build technology for the future, and of course, get paid, right?
Tell the truth.
These are the questions that we're going to bring up on this stream today. And we're going to show you some, it's going to be controversial. Don't take anything personal, anybody. It's going to be controversial, things that you're going to hear in the clips that we're going to play, maybe opinions that people have in the chat room that are different from one another. But let me come on over here. I know that my video is vibrating, folks. I've got no control over it. It's the StreamYards is the problem. And I'm using StreamYards, and y'all know how I feel about StreamYard. I don't like it anymore. It has too many problems. I'm streaming through this instead of my other software, and you may see me vibrating around. So please bear with that. But hopefully you can hear me well. If you can hear me well, put sevens in the chat room. We will be looking at your statements, your thoughts. What's going on, Hawk Smash, Alicia, RY, Peggy Roster, and Erica, and anybody else that comes in. We appreciate that. I know I'm vibrating a little bit. Do not trip about that. Ray, unmute your mic so we can get into this right now, brother. Ray, unmute your mic, sir.
All right, then. Greetings to you. Are you able to hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hopefully everybody can hear you. We'll just ask everybody to put sevens in the chat room if they can hear you or me. What's going on, last call? Embrace the villain. Let's get into this, Ray. I want to put the first, because you sent me this information. And what's going on, villain? You sent me this you sent me this articles are we got some video clips. And what's happening, Ray, tell us what's happening. Just go ahead, Ray, because I gave an introduction. Tell us what's going on out here with the Afrotech and the dating and the relationships and brothers that are considered, quote unquote, nerds, or would have been considered nerds growing up, that are gaining some clout, how they are becoming desirable. What's going on, Ray?
Well, what it looks like is that now that I think they're being influenced negatively by the Black manosphere primarily. Some of these young men, they've gone to school, gone to trade school, tech school, a lot of programs, and now they're working in information technology. They're getting some high salaries, and now they're becoming the it guy. And so what's happening? Afrotech, which is actually started by a Black woman, Morgan DeBosch. She started that whole program. They meet in different cities, and they are conferences for people who are students, people who are technologists, people who want to start a company, and a lot of the sponsoring companies are the big tech firms. So as they have their, continuing education meetings, different things on job fairs and all of that. After that, they have parties, which is like most conferences do. Most conferences, they have after parties and things like that. And so some women on the internet were saying, hey, this is a great place to go to meet somebody that's on the up and up, who's upwardly mobile, who's degreed, and also who may make a high income. And so some, I would say, angry, bitter men from the manosphere started attacking the women for being smart enough to position themselves to meet upwardly mobile men. And go ahead.
Now stop that, Ray. Now, there's always two sides to a situation. I know that, from what I understand, black men who have taken to social media as a way to express with other black men some of the ills and problems that they see within the dating game, some of the things that they don't agree with. And what happens is this, brother, and I'm going to say this again. We take the minimum and we make it the maximum. Okay? So, and I notice this on social media. Anything that happens that's negative, whether it be black men that are negative, black women that are negative, we magnify the shit. When in fact there are and see, Ray, this is why I can talk about this like this, brother. When people demonize particularly black men and say all black men are this and that, I've dealt with thousands of black men through my organization. We're sending black men to college. See, a lot of people on YouTube do a lot of talking, but I do. We've sent black men to college, young black men. We're mentoring young black men. There's black men that are going into sciences and all sorts of things, right? Just like you have at Afrotech. Ray, everybody listening, I interviewed a young brother. The video should still be on this channel. I interviewed a young brother that was introduced me to Afrotech and was telling me that a lot of brothers are getting into it. Black women are involved in it at high numbers. But my thing is, there are too many black men and black women that are doing great things out here, and we don't talk about that because that won't get you the views, right? I'm not getting views. I'm not going to get views on this video. That won't get you the views unless you talk about the train wrecks, right? Unless you talk about the women that have kids by multiple guys or guys that are out here having kids with multiple women. And we use that as the barometer for judging black people, black women, black men. We need to stop it. Now, I heard brothers say time and time again on the social media streets, black women should choose better. Now, if black women are taking that to heart and deciding to say, let's go to places where we can meet better quality men, then what would be the problem with that? Right, Ray? Right?
Well, there's not. The thing is, there's some bitter people who want to say that now that they've made it, that they were even playing an old song. I don't remember. It was like "Used to Like Me," and now I'm on. What's the name of that song by Mike Jones? You remember what I'm talking about? First you didn't
I
want
can't.
me, y'all on
I
me,
can't think.
like that.
I can't think of the words. Peace to the Embrace. Peace to Ray. My man Forever. Raymond Forever. What's going on, brother Forever? Thank you for being here. Yeah, it's going to be a controversial conversation. You may agree with some things and you may disagree. That's okay. But Ray, let me ask this, because in the clips I'm going to play, the brother talks about this. Do black men who are in tech, who are making the big money, right? Do they or do they not? I'm not going to show that yet. Do they or do they not, Ray, have the right to feel some kind of way, about black women who did not check for them in their younger years coming up? And now these women are flocking to places like Afrotech to find what they would call choosing better, a brother who has high earning ability, maybe marriage material. Do those black men do they or do they not have a right, or do they to feel some kind of way and say, oh, now you're checking for me now, but you wasn't checking for me before? What are your thoughts about that? Because these are the things that, has been said within the manosphere.
Well, I'm going to answer it in several sentences. Like, if a guy had a crush on a girl when he was in sixth grade and she was in sixth grade and in ponytails and she didn't know how to pay attention to him, I don't think that if he's in his 20s at Afrotech getting upset that she's coming there now. If he was even in high school and he was the it guy, that at that point there's a level of maturity. I think that you can be conscientious of that, but I don't think they should be resentful because from the pill philosophy, the goal is to get yourself up to this high value man. That may mean skills by skills that you acquire in the skills trades, developing a business, becoming a college graduate if that's what you want to do, and a high income tech professional. So what you're doing is putting yourself in position where you will attract the type of women that you want to. But if you're going to attack those same women now, and they matured also when they were in elementary school, when they were in
Mm-hmm.
school, they were thinking differently. So if you're resentful for them for being wise enough, and I also want to point this out, most of the women did not go for the bad boy, did not go for the thug life. This is a myth that has been pushed out by thug life, hip hop lyrics, gangster rap, and just a very negative imagery
Mm-hmm.
that said our women have just not been with us. If you look at it, most of
Mm-hmm.
our women who have been in our villages, that means where you grew up, where you went to school, most of them
Right.
would date most of the guys in their circle. Very
Right. Well,
few.
well,
Go ahead.
I know growing up in the 80s, I go way back. You usually did engage with people that were in your circle. That
Mhm.
is true. But I also witnessed women who chose men from the streets that they should have left in the streets when they met them. So that's another aspect of this too. And then I've seen brothers get involved with the wrong type of women that they should have left in the streets as well. Embrace says this. He says, bro, you never deal with the chick that's doing the reach back. So I guess basically he's saying that if you were overlooked by a woman or women, and you've sort of built yourself up, because this is the thing about men that's a little bit different from women. You know this, Ray. We have to build ourselves up as men because society doesn't give us any freebies. We got to build ourselves up in so many ways to get the attention sometimes of the opposite sex, right? Because men in general, because we've been given the title to be the leader, to be the provider. So a lot of times we've got to build ourselves up and have economics, have a car, have a place to live, have the ability to take care of a family, a wife and children, right? At the same time, have a decent job, be suave, be able to sweep a woman off her feet. There's so many damn things that men are being. I'm not saying that women are not don't have their issues that they have to deal with, but I'm talking about for men in particular. There's so many things that we have to do to just sometimes attract certain types of women, right? And if you don't have certain attributes, meaning let's say you have some ladies that are into guys that are more muscular and what have you, you're not muscular, but you got a brain up here. You've got to work a little bit hard to get that attention, unless you just find a woman who damn right is interested in men for mainly their mind than all the other stuff. But sometimes I can see how some brothers feel when they say, okay, she's reaching back, like Embrace said, and maybe I shouldn't pay her any attention because of that. Now, let's keep this in mind, everybody. You do have women at tech, at Afrotech, that are in tech, but there's a flock of women that are going there who don't have a background in tech like that. Now, let me just read something to let people put some good information out here that you sent to me, Ray. Black women earn 68% of the STEM master degrees. And we've done this before, Ray. Women in general earn more master's degrees, right? Now, we know that skilled trades is something that black men can go into. And we did a stream about that, about how will women see, we've done a fair and balanced thing here, folks. We did a video on this channel talking about whether women would accept women that are what you call high value women who are in corporate America. Will they accept the blue collar brother who works maybe in construction? Maybe he's an electrician. Maybe he's a plumber. Didn't we do a show like that, Ray?
Yeah, we did. We did
So
that.
I'm just saying to say we do balance over here on when it comes to these subject matters. But this is the facts. Black women earn 68% of STEM master's degrees. Okay. 65% of the STEM research doctoral degrees and 65% of the STEM professional doctorates during 2017 and 2018 school year. So there are, and like you said, a black woman is the one who created and founded Afrotech. And certainly you have some of the best that are involved in Afrotech. But didn't you talk about, this is the question. Should black men that are what you call tech nerds, should they focus more on other black women who are in the same sort of stratosphere as them versus the women that come there who are not in that stratosphere that are looking for them, whether it be that they are a better choice or could it be money? We got clips on that. Is it money that they're looking for out of these guys? What do you think, Ray?
I think that they should be open to a variety of women that have the type of qualities that they want in a woman that they're going to date or marry. So that might be a woman who could be in tech, she could be in nursing, she could be in teaching, social work, as long as she has compatibility with them. What I'm concerned about, and then as men rise up educationally, socioeconomic status, class-wise, they do want to connect with a woman who tends to have more education for the sake of the children. The biggest indicator of a children's academic success, let me repeat that, the biggest indicator of or promoter of a child's academic success is the education level of his mother, because the mother spends the most time with the child. So if you have a college graduate, even if she's not working while the children are in school age, she's the one that makes sure that you're doing reading at level. She can connect with the teacher and do the types of things that help your child excel. And those are the things. So a guy, especially if he's a first generation college graduate himself, he needs to be conscientious that he may not really be afford, even as a high tech professional, to marry a woman who has very little skills and income potential, because a lot of times maintaining that lifestyle may include, to have his children competitive, that may include either being in a very good suburban school district where the housing prices are high. If he's in certain areas, he might have to send his child to private school. So having a smart wife and a credentialed wife is a good thing, who becomes the mother of the children. And I think that as men mature, you know how the Apostle Paul said, when I was a child, I did childish things, but when I became a man, I threw away the childish things. So holding up on a grudge against some, allegedly, and I think it's more mythical than reality, holding a grudge against women that you really weren't compatible with or competitive for in high school, and you've done the work to be somewhat competitive now, is just kind of a waste, because you've done
Right.
what they want you to do to be eligible to date them. And also these women as well, the big girls that didn't, you know, when they slim down, get fine, they can get eligible for certain types of men. So it's on both sides of the game. But my issue is the resentment that these women want to position themselves to be successful men, and all people position themselves to be successful. Well, people who become successful
Right.
to position themselves to become successful.
So if brothers have been telling women and black women specifically to choose better, when you hear the car crash stories that comes out in the news, we see it all over YouTube. Black YouTube, to me, can be, man, we do a disservice to ourselves. And I look at the other sectors in YouTube and how other people, you know, everybody fights, of course. But when I see other groups of people in other sectors, they actually work together, which is why their channels are bigger than ours. which is why they're able to monetize and they're able to become damn near a network of them because they work together while we spend too much time fighting over things. This is my thing though, Ray. Like when I think about the girls or people I grew up when I was a kid, and everybody think about this for yourself too personally. Those females, I don't want any of those females now. Those females that I might have been interested in, and then I saw the results of how they came about. I don't want those women. I think that personally, Ray, I think you should always move forward and find new opportunities or new people in your life that may bring value to a life. My thing is, any woman that I'm with, I want it to be a woman that brings value to my life. So if you're a tech guy, you're making a high salary, and you've got these young ladies coming to the tech convention, and they're not really there personally for the business of the convention, but maybe for the partying of the convention because they want to get with you, then the question that guy has to ask himself, and any man, does this woman bring value to my life versus the woman that I really should be trying to get with, who's in this damn tech convention, who's actually tech herself? I personally say, Ray, that you should levy yourself up and not down, but that's but that doesn't negate the fact that women who want to choose better, who don't have this kind of background, I can't hate on them for wanting to go there to find what they feel are better quality men, when I got to be honest, brothers, whether y'all like it or not, brothers have been the one hollering about this the most. Won't you choose better? Leave the Pookies and Ray Rays alone, right? So it's a double-edged sword here. Ray, let me play this young lady who actually works in tech. She said that she's seen it from both sides of the angle. Let me put this up here right here. It is: black male tech nerds need to make up their mind. You told women to choose better, but now you're mad when they're choosing you. Now, what is that all about? Ray, I'm going to play this clip for this young lady and get your opinion about it. Once again, like I said, folks, she's actually in Afrotech. She's a tech herself, and she says she sees it from both sides of the equation in some form or fashion. So let's go over here, Ray, and let me play this right now and get people's perspective on this. Listen to this, folks, and everybody give your opinions about where you see the truth in what she's saying or not. I'll put your thoughts on the board for us to read too.
A word of advice for the girls who are in tech and who are not in tech, who are going to Afrotech to only or purposely go and find a man. It is an environment in which there are a lot of men who didn't necessarily have, what's the nice word that I can use, a lot of pull in an earlier part in their life, and now they kind of have a little bit of leverage or a glow up, if you will. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but the thing is, when sometimes those things happen to you later in life, it kind of becomes like a clout disease, and they take these associations with these certain companies or these certain salaries to their head. And I can speak for myself as someone who has worked at all of these companies and has been association with all of these men since 2015. They tend to downplay the women, especially Black women, who are their peers, and they don't want to date us.
Now, I gotta be honest, part of where I agree with where she was coming from is that you do have these brothers who were looked down on. I've said this already. They didn't have no money. They didn't have no swag, whatever. And now they've gained some clout. She's right about that. But where my opinion about it, and Embrace, I know you want to come up, brother. I'll probably drop a link for you, but we want to stay on topic. I don't want this to, we're not letting this show go somewhere else. We're going to stay right on this topic. Now, these brothers who were overlooked for whatever the reasons have gained clout through their mind, their hard work. And she did say at the end that she could understand why they would have an attitude or have a position and feel some kind of way about these young ladies who may not meet the mustard academically or what have you, or professionally. What do you think about what she just said, Ray?
Thank you. I hear where you're coming from. Now, I don't think that men should be upset about women that they have never met, punishing them for women that rejected them in high school or college as they're getting themselves together. But the issue is that as you mature, as you self-actualize, you should be able to understand where you are and where people are coming from, and you're going to vet that person. So
Right.
I'm saying that they should want to date and eventually marry women who are on a similar education level, socioeconomic status,
Right.
things of that nature. So the women who are savvy enough to go to a conference like Afrotech, when they bring those same skills, they bring those credentials, and it might not be in that industry. However, they are high quality, high caliber women.
Right.
So one of, if she's got a master's degree in nursing, master's degree in education, public administration, and or MBA, and she's doing brand marketing or something like that, or if she's a vice principal or any number of things, or even, she still brings the types of credentials. And I don't
Right.
think it's good for them to arbitrarily be angry at them for positioning themselves to meet men that
Well,
present their
right.
credentials as
I,
well.
I personally, Ray, think that it's a good thing for women that have educational background to be there. But I'm talking about what it sounds to be is that you've got people. It sounds like that they're saying that Afrotech is becoming a party fest, which is not what it was intended to be. Meaning, some of these folks are going there and they're not really going there for what the purpose is. I'm not talking about women who have something, they bring something to the table. We're talking about the women who actually don't bring anything to the table. And maybe these brothers are feeling resentful because they feel like, okay, you want to suck off of my resources. I mean, we've heard these conversations, on social media. Maybe the woman has ill intentions. Let me go ahead, Ray, for everybody. And let me say this to people in the chat room. I appreciate everybody. Jonathan Kidd is in the chat room. Embrace the Villain. Copper is here. He said two of you must get to know each other as friends first. If you looking to have a relationship, dating should be after you become friends, and damn it, dating. Right. You got to build a foundation, a strong foundation for a relationship to be successful. This brother Copper said as well, look, I've been married married to my wife since 1979. I met her in 1972. I was 12. She was 15. Wow. They go way back. When we started as friends for about 2 years before I asked her to be my girlfriend. Now, brother, I appreciate the power of your message. I mean, 1979, you got married. I don't know how many brothers in today's time, because we're living in a different time in terms of how people see waiting to do something. I don't know how many people would wait 2 years before being a girlfriend. Now, there's a lot of stories about, brothers being interested in a female, and for whatever reason, they went in their different directions and then they came back together somehow. Those things happen. But let me play this. Thank you for coming over too. Henderson, thank you for being here. RY for being here. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Let me see. Keep is in the house. Jonathan Kidd, Alicia, everybody that's coming in, I appreciate you coming over. David, thank you for coming over. anybody that came in, I appreciate you for coming over and giving your thoughts. Let me play this video right here too, Ray. Let's check out this particular video right here.
In Houston, the people, the music and vibes are quite clear both outside and inside the George R. Brown Convention Center. Secured Mustafa is one of 30,000 to visit Afrotech.
We have the tools, we have the brilliance, we have the intelligence.
It's the largest gathering of innovators and inclusive technology, providing career opportunities along with industry expertise, a space Black people have struggled previously to gain traction.
And it's just been really beautiful to see so many amazing Black women and Black men here ready to take on the space and take on the challenge.
At least that's what it's supposed to be, right? More recently, what it's become is the club. It's become the dating scene, as there have been an influx of women who aren't in tech coming into these spaces because they are pursuing men. Now,
I'm going to stop it right there. We're going to go step by step. And I'm definitely inviting people's comments in the chat room. Ray, you sent me this video. I did the proper edits on it to get to the point on these in the video. But you hear what the brother is saying. It's becoming a party dating fest. At least that's what the brother is saying here. And that's what's been going on. What are your thoughts?
Okay, thank you. I think that is his opinion of what is going on. That they have the job fairs, they have the innovators meetings, they have company corporate sponsors events during the daytime, and at the nighttime they do have parties. But the whole emphasis is not that. Now, I think that these guys have to become adults and stop being resentful of childhood, maybe trauma, or that childhood hurt when they were not the men that they were wanted to be, and they got hurt by some girls who were not even mature enough to understand what they did. So what I'm saying is that what they may do, and since 51% of the STEM majors, of Black STEM majors, are already women in undergrad school, I'm pretty sure that the majority of the people at Afrotech were women. So what we're going to have to start looking at is to find out why this resentment, because they're going to, what they're going to do is ruin their image again. So right now, when they were kids and they wanted to level up, and it took them a while, and it takes everybody, it takes these women a while. Most of the women, when they're in high school and college, are not the it girls. So they have to do the things to level up. So I think that when you have the skills to vet and understand people, if you're at Afrotech, you happen to meet somebody, and she's a human resources manager for a major corporation or a city government, and she's at Afrotech. She's not techie, but she's at a party at Afrotech. I don't understand why you would get resentful of her being there.
Well, let's use logic. Every convention, whether it be a business convention, whatever convention, they all have parties. They all have parties where people get little tipsy, what have you. Brother Hatchet, he said he was at Afrotech. Hatchet, brother, tell us what's going on. He said at least 75% of the women, he said 75% were women at Afrotech.
Which I speculated on that because they're the majority of the students studying STEM.
Right.
In great strides in the industry, and brothers are still behind, and we're trying to help them get on point. So
can one make an argument, Ray? And now this is going to sound controversial. Some brothers will agree with me or disagree. But the truth of the matter is, and I think we've said this before in other videos, why don't we as brothers just focus on getting our shit together? Because I hear this all the time on social media. You hear this in the manosphere and people who talk red pill. Brothers, work on yourself. Work on yourself. Get yourself together. Women will always be there for you. Hell, we know that as you get older as a man, you still are desirable as women become. Think about it. As men get older, they still are desirable by younger women because of our resources and experience. And we're still sort of desirable by even women in our own age group. So, and this has been red pill philosophy. Work on yourself. Stop worrying about women 24/7. Get yourself together. Elevate yourself, and you'll have a better opportunity. The women will come, and when you elevate yourself, you can be choosy and picky. And let's be honest, women have always been picky and choosy about the men that they want in their life, no matter what their status is. You got women who they could be damn near one paycheck from being out of their house, but they still will have a standard. Now, their standard may not be what you agree with, but everybody has a right to have a standard of who they want. And I think if men just focus on doing what we need to do for ourselves, women are going to always be there, and we can choose who we want to be with based on what we want in our life. Everybody has I believe, Ray, the right to that. I would say that you are clearly correct. Brother Hatchet has already broken it down to us. I think I know Hatchet from other content that I think he's a content creator himself. If that's who I think this brother is, he said he was there and 75% were women. So you're right. Black men, in my opinion, we need to focus on getting our shit together, where we need to improve ourselves. Because whether women are out earning us in degrees, Ray, we did a video about this. There are all other things that black men can do to elevate themselves, whether it be in the skilled trades or college themselves. Is that right, Ray?
That's correct. And the thing is, I think that what we need to do, and I think this source is coming from a few resentful Black manosphere brothers who are resentful that a few women got on YouTube or TikTok or something like that and said that they were going to strategically position themselves by going to Afrotech. And really, if you're the it guy, you want, I mean, there's a basketball, the All-Star basketball event. Women do that on what's that, the All-Star game? They do that every year.
Yeah. You have women that go to the NBA All-Star. Yeah, I mean, women going to places to find men of certain elevation has been going on for thousands of years, gentlemen. We can go back to ancient times. Remember, in ancient times, see, this is the thing that's funny about it, Ray. You know, we talk about how it's about status today, right? What status you have, how much money you make. But if most of us was living thousands of years ago in ancient times, you had to have status in ancient times. You had to be of a certain class, a certain family. You had to have a certain name and lineage before anybody would mess with you. So this ain't this is not an old reality that women, men, everybody is going to go for people of a certain status. Now, whether that person is going to choose you of that status, that's a whole nother bag of bones. But let me play some more of this, Ray, and I'll stop it again and let people hear this. And people, put your thoughts in the chat room. Mr. Hatchet, if you're here, give us some more data, sir. Mr. Hatchet says this, Ray. He says, I had a media pass. The event and the nightlife were both great. The women were on point. Nerds like to party as well. This was the 4th year going. All right, brother. All right, I clap to that. No, I clap to that. David is in the house, and he says, it's your status, not you as a person, right? Interesting. Now, Mr. Hatchet, since you've been going to this event, do the women elevate jock for you mainly because of your status and not really because of you? And we know that that's been going on for years, Mr. David, where people only want to get with you for your status. And what does status mean? Money, cars, houses, what you can do for them. Or in this case, people say this all the time on social media, a man's social status are his resources, right? So That's very interesting. You say that LLC, Larry's Anything Goes LLC, just gave me a super chat. Thank you.
Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you for that super chat, brother. I appreciate that. Roger Report has come in. Roger Report says, I would love to come up for a moment. Everybody wants to come up. Ray, people want to come up and talk. And Ray, we're not. And Ray, I don't want to turn. I want to stay on point of the subject matter, but I am inclined to drop a link because I want to hear Mr. Hatchett that was at Afrotech, and I want to hear brother's perspective on this. But at the end of the day, brothers have hollered many a times that I've heard on these YouTube streets where they said that women have to choose better. But Mr. Hatchett, who's actually been to Afrotech, said that 75% of the population at Afrotech are women, Ray, as you said, because women are actually dominating, are actually getting advanced degrees, master's degrees in these fields. Now, I know black men, or I know men in general will say, I don't care about the woman's education. I want a woman that's feminine, a woman that's going to, make me feel good and, that has motherly qualities. All of that is good, but all that's good too. But at the end of the day, the women are the dominant number at this conference. But the thing is that you have women coming in who are not in the tech industry. And I think that might be the issue here that this brother on the screen was talking about the outside women coming in. But like you said, if you're telling them to choose better, then one can make the argument that they should go to places where there are better quality of men that they're going to try to get the attention of. I mean, let me play some of this right here. And there's a chance that we may drop a link, everybody, but let's play this, Ray. I want you to hear the rest of this, Ray.
Now, the ironic part is that many of these men have always been available because, in general, we know that in the black community, the corny guy, the smart guy, the guy who's into these sort of things when it comes to the tech industry, sciences, was typically the guy who, like this creator was speaking about, didn't always have the greatest abilities with women. But now that he's kind of leveled up, as she's saying, he's set higher standards. He expects more. He's not settling simply for any woman. She has to really prove himself, which I say to those type of guys who worked on themselves and got their education and been able to move up the ladder and become successful.
I want to stop it right there, Ray. What is your thoughts on what he's saying? I know you said that this is maybe his personal view of it, but there's a lot of guys who have this view who feel that that's the case. But what is your perspective on that part, Ray?
Okay, I think that the women who were techie, the smart girls in high school, who were not the popular, they were not the cheerleader, they were in the National Honor Society, they were graduated with highest honors, got the scholarship to Spelman. They were not, it took them a while to get it together. So the point of this is that these guys who are dwelling on that, I think is myth. I think that they're taking some things that they've seen that also have been socialized in a lot of our movies, like the different movies that talk about, who the it girl is in high school, who the it guy is in high school. What happens is that they are hurting themselves by holding on to things. And I'm going to say this may sound, they may need some therapy, some counseling, to help them manage their lives, to understand that everybody's not out to get you. And if we look at the numbers, the small numbers of black men in tech, we need to get more. They really need to go ahead. If they have people coming in that can be assets to their lives, that's what you want. And
Right.
that fact that Afrotech was found by a woman engineer who graduated from Washington University, which was one of the top engineering schools in the U.S. She started Blavity. She's a multimillionaire. She's an innovator. And so people who have been resentful of this really need to rethink what's going on. You were
Right.
elevated, you were rising up to have better opportunities. Now, if you want to be resentful, then go. And that's not good. I think that they really need to think about this.
Yeah.
That the so-called nerdy guy, I think that they need to get that image together. And also the so-called thug life. Most of us did not go to schools with people who were thugs and criminals. Most of us did not go. Most of the people in our schools, from the information that I know,
Hmm.
they were not. Most people didn't go to jail. Most people weren't selling drugs. Now there are certain areas of the country that did happen, but even in those cities, most people
Yeah.
did not participate in that. So the point of they need to kind of get over this and move forward, because they're going to position themselves to be isolated, because this is going to sound hard. They're barely in the industry. You got your important people from everywhere else who are in that industry. You're
Right.
barely in, and your partner for life, your sister that's got game that can help you. And we've talked about that.
Oh,
Your wife is your asset to
right.
move to the next levels in everything you do. I don't care if that's in entrepreneurship, in corporate America, if you want to be
Right.
a politician. So they need to rethink what they're saying and stop demonizing these women, because the issue is not the women.
Well,
It's about what
I'm I'm going to say this, Ray. Ray, and I want to invite Brother Hatchet up, Roger Report, and just to let everybody know, this is not going to be a back and forth. We're not going to argue. I don't do that on my channel. Don't work that way on my channel, because Roger Report he feels there's some conflicting statements on this issue. I just want to get his opinion. Let the brothers come up for a short moment, get their opinions and thoughts. I personally am a black man on these social media streets that don't cry about women 24/7. Look at my damn channel. I talk about real issues. It doesn't mean that black men out here and black women are not going through things in their relationships, and they're not some bad dynamics going on. I just don't personally spend my time on it, because I am one of those brothers who do my best, if I get involved with a young lady, to choose well, to make sure I'm not dealing with nonsense. And if I'm dealing with nonsense, I let it go. I just don't have the propensity to get on social media and talk about women 24/7, because the black men that I deal with and hang around with, we got too much real shit going on. And we don't have a problem with getting the women that we want. So I just want to say that maybe, and you got to remember, in the beginning of the show, when I played that clip from the young lady, Ray, she made a good point that some of these guys may still feel she made a good point about how some of these guys that she had been around had been overlooked at one point in time, and then they came up, and now they're saying, I can be more selective. I don't have to settle for someone who overlooked me. I can go for the women. I think the guys, or the brothers that are quote unquote the nerds at Afrotech, and Mr. Hatchet, he can confirm this for us. I think they want women that are bringing something to the table. I think at the end of the day, I think that's what we all want. I think we all want a woman that's mothery, feminine, has great qualities, and then she's intelligent and what have you, and she brings other things to the table. I think most men in general want that. The question is whether we can find that in some cases. But what's going on, Jonathan Kidd? This is for Hatchet and Brother Rogers for a brief moment to come up and give your thoughts for a brief moment. Not a debate. We're not debating. I don't got no time for debating. We can all, because guess what? We all have our opinions based on our experiences and what we've been through. Doesn't mean that everything that we say is wrong. Because on YouTube, everybody feels that their opinion is the God's opinion of everything. No, everybody has an opinion, and it could be factual for them based on what they went through in their individual anecdotal experience. Doesn't mean it's a fact. And like I said before, Ray, one of the things that we do in the black community too often on social media, and I'm going to say it again, we maximize the minimum and we minimize the maximum, meaning we spend more time focusing on the low-hanging fruit of our community while forgetting about the things that Black people are actually doing that's actually benefiting us. And I know that for a fact because I've had people on this channel that are doing real shit. That lets me know, and I look at the things that I've been involved in with Black men, thousands of Black men over the years that are going into academic fields. They're becoming scientists, mathematicians, teachers, the whole nine yard. They're family men. I know this for a fact because these are young. Because I've done a lot of mentorship through my organization from the time I was 19 years old. But I'm going to put this link in here. Mr. Hatchett, come on up because you were actually at Afrotech and you can give us some perspective. Not going to be a debate. It's going to be an intelligent discussion. But Ray, let me play some more of this because I want you to hear some more of what he said.
Good for you.
Okay, so as we're all aware now,
Let's hear this.
Afrotech is in Houston this time, right? And I've been seeing a lot of tweets specifically from men complaining that it's, you know, there's like dating panels and people are talking about on here, oh, like I'm looking for the men or, you know, I'm looking for a fine woman, complaining. And the point I'm going to make, I'm going to relate it to DC men, specifically DC men in tech. Follow me. What these two genres of men share, right, is they constantly complain that they can't find somebody on their level, or someone that's not going to use them for the money, even though, you know, okay, whatever, we'll get into that. Or they're constantly working tireless hours, which is preventing them from dating.
Okay, I want to stop it right there. Ray, you have said that the sister right here is saying that even some of the brothers at Afrotech that have the education, have the clout, she's making the argument that as it relates to the Houston, that these Black men are arguing and saying that they can't find what they want because they don't want someone to use them for their money and their resources. I think in general, most men in general don't want to be used for their money and resources in general. But as I bring Brother Hatchett in, Ray, what are your thoughts about that as I bring the brother in?
I think that as Brother Hatchett's wrote, is that revenge of the nerd mentality. These men are basically first generation college graduates, first generation we call it nouveau riche, first time getting some money.
Yes.
So if it's your first time getting some money, marrying a woman with a nursing degree, marrying a woman who has an MBA, that's going to enhance what you're doing to solidify you in the upper middle class. So, and DMV, like the Washington D.C., area, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, those areas, you have a lot of sisters that have gone to, you know, Georgetown, Howard, UVA, all these premier schools, and they're working on Capitol Hill. They're working for these defense contractors. So those women come with a lot to offer, and they're tired of it when their parents as well have invested in those girls to go to these good schools. These young ladies come out of these colleges with highest honors. They're doing all these things. And when they get ready to find someone to date or marry, they're coming across guys who, unfortunately, because of the way the system is, a lot come from broken homes. They already have children out of wedlock. They barely went to community college. And I'm not knocking them. I know sisters in the DMV area, and I know sisters in my areas, and I know parents who have invested in their kids. They're not paying $20,000 a year for a private college preparatory school for their daughter to eventually marry someone who, you know, dropped out of community college. Now, you know, we'll talk about the class issues, but we have to be aware of that. And hello, Andre, man, good to hear you up here, man. I didn't want to take too much time, but let's hear your thoughts about what went down at Afrotech.
Yeah, I want to hear.
Okay, what's up, information, man? What's up, Ray? It was fly. I had people who knew I was there, and they would say, "Oh, Dre, is it what were they called? Freaknik, Tech Freaknik? Women are going there who aren't even in tech, yada yada." And my thing is, what do you want?
Okay.
People are upset when decent, educated women date street dudes. Now they're flocking to an event, some for the event, maybe some to meet a man. maybe something to have fun. It's like everything is an issue with a lot of dudes. Everything is an issue. The event was fly. It's my 4th year going. I was able to get a media pass a few of those years, so I was able to get in there for free, and I was able to do some film and recording and stuff. Content was great. People got hired from some of the top jobs on the spot. I mean, like Charles Schwab, Microsoft, the Googles of the world, they were all there. Some Black tech founders, well, a lot of them I know, they were there. I was talking to the governor of Maryland. We had like a fireside chat, about 8 of us media personnel. He's a great dude. It was great. And one of the nightlife was actually at one of my friends' lounges. It's called Jolene's. And they even had the after parties there, which is great for a Black-owned spot to be involved in and getting some of the revenue from it. So, so I'm a cool guy, right? I'm educated, but I'm cool. I think a lot of people aren't cool. And they never have been.
Okay.
So some people are cool with that. They say, look, I'm who I am. I know my lane in life, and I'm good. I think some people never got comfortable with not being cool. So when they see things like this, they're in the uproar in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. And I just don't get it.
Well, let me say something to you, Brother Hatchett. And I'm glad. I thought that was I thought you were who I thought you were.
Yeah, it's me.
I just wanted to say to you that, and you heard me say this earlier, and I don't know why my video is vibrating like it is. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard's on my side. But let me just say this. Hopefully you guys can hear me well. I said it already. Every damn convention has parties that attract women. Am I right or not? Because I know you in business, right, brother?
Yeah, yep. Mm-hmm.
Isn't that true? Every type of convention that has men that are in business, in tech, whatever it is, you're still going to have women going there searching you out.
Brother, I don't know a better place for people to meet equal or close to equally like people. And I say this, I think conferences have the best after parties. I'll take a conference after party damn near over any party, over a wedding. Weddings have good parties too. Because there's this, again, for a lot of people just haven't experienced a fun era in life. That's because they go hand in hand. Educated people probably I've dated some woman, maybe they stripped before, I don't know. And I've dated women with PhDs and law degrees. The law degrees, PhD chicks party just as hard or harder. So it's not like because they went to college, because they make 6 figures, they don't turn up. They just might do it differently. They might not have the cameras on, but that's all part of the game. Doug, what up, fam? That's just all part of the game, and it goes hand in hand. InvestFest, after parties, Microsoft conference, it just goes together. But information, we have a question for you.
Yes,
for
sir.
People who are calling it names and degrading it, where is there a better place to meet people? There were 35,000 people there.
I have to be honest. There is no better place other than being in college again. Yeah. I got to be honest, brother. I got to be honest. Since I've been out of school over the years, I find it was a lot easier to meet the kind of women that I was interested in when I was in college. Being out of college so many years now, I find it more difficult because, you were going there for education, but it was a social scene. Right? It was a social scene in which you could connect with like-minded people and as ladies as well, right? So if you were a brother that wanted a woman that was trying to do something with her life, if you were in some type of school, some type of academy, that would be a good way to meet those type of women. And I know people will say, well, any kind of woman of any background can be ratchet. Yeah, but anybody can be ratchet in general, But at the same time, I knew when I was married, I met my wife in college, and she had the qualities that I was looking for. I had another homeboy that kept going to the clubs, meeting fast chicks in the club, and then he unfortunately impregnated one of them and had to deal with that issue. He even admitted I made a bad choice. Now anybody can make a bad choice, but I'm simply saying, well, you've been at Afrotech You were there. You said that it was fantastic. It was a great way for people to meet. I can kind of understand on the flip side of it, though, Brother Hatchet and Brother Ray, because Ray brought this topic to this channel. We sometimes collaborate and do these type of videos every now and then.
Oh, dope.
I recognize that some of these brothers that have worked their ass off, that were maybe overlooked or whatever the issues are, I understand their point of view. Right. Brother Villainous came in and said, hey, don't take leftovers. I totally get that. You should not. I don't think personally you should backtrack and deal with women that are chasing after you now, who either overlooked you before or they don't bring anything to the table. And I can understand the concern that you don't want to get used by women. So the question is, are they looking at you for your status? I think that was the question, Ray, that we were talking about. Are they looking at you for your status, or are they interested in just you as a person? That's where it gets a little iffy at, though. But Roger Report, how you doing, brother?
On that, your status
go ahead.
is a part of who you are as a person.
Okay.
Your education, your socioeconomic status, your social class, your income,
Mm-hmm.
all of that, that's a part of who you are.
Yes.
And you should also be looking at those features, those qualities in the type of woman you're going to interact with. So you can't separate that. The things that you're dealing with, your status, your socioeconomic status, has such an imprint on everything that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that to say, and that the person's character, you can find high income, high status men of good character. Just because a person is of high income, high education level does not mean they don't have good character. And also, just because they have a lower level of education and a lower or average income does not mean they have good character. So I just want to point that out. So you have to vet properly, period.
Let me just say this. Let me say peace to Nightfall Drop. Let me say peace to Doug, who's in the house, and everybody that's in the chat room, T Ridge, BT. Thank you for coming over. Roger Report, what's going on, brother? You had some things that you wanted to bring up, maybe some disagreements that you have. Go right ahead, speak your mind, brother, about the subject matter. Go right ahead.
Okay. I do think it was like certain things that are kind of getting conflated because, it's fine for a person to have an opinion about a particular thing, but there are realistic things that people have to take into account. I did see the young lady speak about what her perception of things were. And regardless of what type of men some women are going for, because to me, I think it makes sense for women to go after men doing a certain thing, because a certain thing will relate to a certain kind of money the man is making. I wouldn't tell my daughter to go after a man because he's broke. You know what I'm saying? If you have an opportunity of a man who's wealthy, rich, or a high income, why not? If you have a chance, that doesn't mean you skip past everybody else, because at some point in time as a woman, you have to understand your job is to help a man. So if you haven't helped the man do anything, what is your important in his life? And that's something that I think a lot of women skip past. But when you get to a convention, it's not about what some outside man is saying about the convention. The thing is, what about the men who are at the convention? What do they think? As a woman, if you're not getting picked, yes, you may be educated to a certain level, but are you pretty? Do you look nice? Do you smell good? You still have to attract a man the same normal ways that you would attract a man anywhere else. Me knowing a woman already has money, so she's quote unquote not going to use me for money, is a good thing. But at the end of the day, every sensible man knows we're going to take care of women no matter what. It just is what it is on that note. There has been not one recorded case that a black woman actually got with a brother and took care of him to the day he died. Now, I'm not saying it ain't never happened, but it's not a known thing. Okay. And if it were to happen, it's probably going to be something that's very unlikely, like a brother was with a woman for a period of time. Maybe he was involved in a car accident, became a quadriplegic, and she stayed by his side, which is a part of life. When you make vows, you're supposed to be there for good and bad. So at the end of the day, I think the women have to understand, yes, I'm going to the right place, but do I have what it takes to get the men who are there? Because at the end of the day, it's her job to still get the men that happen to attend there. Just because you came doesn't mean you get a date. There's a certain level of entitlement in that attitude. Well, I went to where the right men are. That don't mean the right men like you. Did you have something to offer the right men? That's the question.
So basically, Brother Rogers, it's not a matter of just saying, It's not a matter of just showing up and saying, I'm here, now take me. The question is, what qualities do that woman bring to the table that will attract those men that are the best type of men to choose? Do they live up to the standard of what that man wants in a wife? So you can't assume, but what you, I guess that's where you're going, brother. But would you agree or disagree that it's a good start for women, particularly black women, to put themselves in places for more, what we would say, better quality men who actually are going somewhere in life versus, come on, brother, we've heard this in the manosphere over the years. These sisters getting with the Ray-Rays and and the street type of dudes that end up pregnating them, and then they got all these babies that we all say, hey, it ain't my responsibility to take care of all these babies that you didn't have by this dude who ran off on you, who really wasn't father material.
Well, as a person who actually is part of the black manosphere, the manosphere,
yes, sir.
I don't take, because that's a lot of white people and some others, and they ain't no telling what white people are doing any given day. So
they doing all kind of stuff too. Yeah, they doing. No, I'm not. Yeah, they doing all kind of stuff too, Roger. I'm just saying specifically for this conversation though.
No. What I'm saying is, how old were you when you showed up? Did you show up at 35? Because if you showed up at 35, who cares that you're there?
That's
okay.
True.
Now, if you showed up at 23, you probably got a lot better chances at the end of the day. So the whole thing is, what age did I come to this particular place? Because if I'm a man who goes through any particular thing, just like what you're using as an example, okay,
yes, sir.
So I'm now at a certain age. I want to have a family. Who am I going to have a family with? Am I going to have a family with an old lady who's in tech? And when I say old, I mean 30 and above, because women age differently than men. Your value is going to be different based on your age. Are you 30 and up and I'm supposed to pick you to have a family with? Or are you 23 and coming into this particular place, whether you're involved with the tech scene or not? Because if I'm a man who wants a family, I want a 22-year-old so she can give me one.
Right. Roger, I don't know if you heard my open dialogue on the show. I had brought up the issue about how, when young women are in school, that shouldn't family be the focal point to build family, to find a good husband, a good relationship, to build that up, because we have a lot of women in general who go for the career and they think that everything's going to fall in place for them in terms of the man's going to come falling out of the sky and everything's going to be perfect. And then you see these women getting older and older, and now they're running around saying, hey, I want my husband. And I brought up the example of Vivica Fox. Here she is, all these years of her celebrity and her youth, right? And things didn't work out with her and 50 Cent, but now she's at 60 years old now, talking about she's looking for a husband.
I mean, not to cut you off. I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I opened that up because I was basically trying to say is we don't want young ladies being in that situation where they're getting older, trying to look for husbands. That speaks to what you were saying about women going to these kind of conventions and they done aged a little bit there, and they're now looking for something that they probably should have been looking for in their younger years. If that makes any sense.
Oh, it makes all the sense in the world, because my thing is this. You know what I'm saying? Something that a lot of black men just need to really just realize. Women ain't never had an issue dating older guys. I found out sophomore year of high school that a lot of young girls was dating grown men that they really had no business being with in the first place. So at the end of the day, they go after what they want. If they waste their youth going after guys who don't like them, that's a personal problem that they need to solve for themselves. But if you are the man looking for a wife, I'm looking for a wife. I'm not looking for a 40-year-old because I want a wife. Why do men normally get married to have families? If a man ain't looking to have a family, usually he ain't getting married. Or you're talking about a much older gentleman who's already out of a marriage. Maybe he got divorced and he'll remarry again. Or maybe the guy is a widower and he'll remarry again. But normally, men going after the first wife is so they can have a family. We don't want 30-plus-year-old women to do that because it doesn't make sense from a biological standpoint.
Right. The fertility issues and all of those things. I get where you're coming from. Let me do this here because I want to bring it back to Ray and get his opinions and get your opinions on this. Let me play through the rest of this video as it relates to the whole issue around Afrotech, and definitely get opinions from Ray and Brother Hatchet, because he actually was there and get y'all thoughts on some more of this. I'll play this on the full screen now.
So because they fear and think that women are only chasing them for their money and that they don't have the time whatsoever to go date, even though they do be dating and they be ruining women's lives, okay? They become very strict, and now all of a sudden it's anti-fun. Oh, this is a professional setting. Why is there dating panels? So now this is for my non-strict ass people. If you there and you want to network, but you also want to find your love, your husband, your wife, do so. I support you. I really do, and have the best time. Like, everything don't have to be strict.
Because while this is an issue in America, as far as how women tend to gravitate towards the bad boy while ignoring the square guy, it is only magnified when we talk about the Black community. Understand that part of it, where the corny guy is the smart guy and the attractive and exciting guy, typically speaking, is the bad boy. Now, not all women always go for these guys, but when we're talking about what you see in the Black community, even still today, and events like this only act as a reminder.
Hey, I'm having a great time at Afrotech. What events are you going to later?
Well, I'm going to Soho House, Culture House, Blackout Party, Google Kickback, Sold Out Days, and of course the Blavity House Party.
Yo, what? Those not the events I was talking about. Just come on. Hey, I had a great time at the Creators of Culture event the other day. Are you going to the actual conference? I'm gonna head to the Open AI event later.
The conference? No, come on now. Me and my girls have a black truck taking us to South House.
Yo, what? Are you even a tech?
I'm a nurse.
So I am just getting in from Afrotech's welcome party, kickoff party. And I will tell you, I've been on site today because my company is sponsoring Afrotech. So I've been in the convention area. I also, like I said, just got back from that party. And I will tell you, the men's is outside. The employers are here too. So make sure you go get the bag, but also get the bay. There are a lot of women, the cants are always haters. The cants are on the interwebs, on Beyonce's internet, trying to shame y'all for looking for romantic connections as well as professional ones. And I totally disagree with that. If I were single, I would be in formation. I'm in formation anyway. Your girl's in formation anyway. But I would really be in formation if I were single, okay? So don't let these haters shame you, okay? There are very few opportunities as professional Black women. We know there are very few opportunities where we are in the space with professional Black men at this rate. Take advantage of that. Y'all run it up for your girl, okay? Y'all run it up for me because I can't do it for myself, okay? By the way, my neighbor, who is a whole doctor in his early 30s, attractive, literally said to me a day ago that I am going to Afrotech to look for my wife. Don't let these cants keep you from block your blessings, okay? Be in formation, focus on your focus, but see what you can see, okay?
Guys, in a recent interview, Sir Slim Thug asserted that Ciara was not happy in her relationship with Russell Wilson because he is a good guy. To use his word, he is a square. Let's get into this quote right here. He wrote this, y'all. This is his version.
End with quotes.
Version. Do a woman used to talk to Future really want a Russell Wilson? He's just a corny dude. He's just like a square. Okay, before we get into this question of the week, what do you define as a good guy? What does that mean?
I've found, to be very honest, my definition of a good guy has changed over the years. A good guy for me used to mean that he had money, that he had a certain social standing, but I found that didn't mean that they were really good people. So now for me, a good guy is someone that is kind, that's a hard worker, that doesn't have serious problems with honesty, and that actually is a little square.
Oh. I feel like
for me, those qualities now, you can find them anywhere, not just in the church or in school, you know, because I used to associate the good guy with the guy who's in church, the guy who's in the library all the time. But now I feel like you can find you a good guy in the street. You know what I'm saying? Some of these street dudes, they be good guys. They'll take care of you. You know, they'll care about you. They'll motivate you. They'll support you. So for me, it's just, you know, sometimes the popular definition of a good guy is not my definition of a good guy.
All of this leads us to the question of the week. Why do we pick good guys last? Okay, ladies, so why don't we just pick the good guy first? Doesn't it seem so simple?
But I feel like some people, and I can definitely put myself in this category because I've been super guilty of it, didn't pick good guys or good men, like, because like we're normalizing trauma. Like we think that to be in love is like exciting and should be danger. And it's like, we think that all of these things are normal. When you meet a nice guy where it's just like, it's easy. It's like, oh, well, I don't trust it because I don't know what that is. Like so much of Black love is about struggle. Like why does our love have to be struggled for it to be like, this is what it's supposed to be exciting and feel good.
And this is why for the men who worked on themselves, they've been disciplined. They took in the long road to become the successful man that they are. It's okay to walk around with your chest out a little bit. It's okay to set a standard. It's okay not to accept the bare minimum from modern women today.
All right. So, Ray, once again, thank you for bringing this topic up. Ray, what is your thought so far? I wanted to let that video play through. And I do have that Princeton video where the woman wrote the letter to females at Princeton about, you know, finding husband material in school. But what is your thoughts so far, Ray?
I still am at the point, as Andre said, the revenge of the nerd. These young men need to mature, understand that life is developing and that you have to understand where you are and seize the moment. So blaming women that have nothing to do with some girl that hurt your feeling in elementary school or high school or in college is just basically wrong. The women that are there who are strategic, if you know anything about success, strategy is a major part of it. You're positioning yourself for success all the time. Opportunities are missed by people who don't know where to be. And showing up is about, sometimes it could be 80% of the issue. So knowing where to go, where you have that opportunity to build. Like the woman said, people got hired by Google, people got hired by Microsoft, or somebody said that, I don't know if it was a woman, but somebody was saying people were getting hired at the right companies and you want to get benefits. The other thing I did want to address that Roger Report was talking about, yes, when you've invested in your children, you are raising them to skip over. Everybody is not eligible for everybody. If you spent $20,000 a year sending your son to St. Mark's College Preparatory Academy, or you're sending your daughter to Ursuline College Preparatory Academy, and your son finds himself at West Point, and your daughter's at Spelman, you're not trying for them. Anybody won't do. And so that's why I think Attorney Spellman was saying this is a rich man's game now. When he's accomplished what he's accomplished and he's able to invest in his sons right now, he doesn't want a sexy red type woman dealing with his son. He wants a proper woman from a social standing, well educated, who can articulate, who will be able to help his grandchildren not only maintain the wealth that he's acquired, but to take that wealth to the next level. So it is a class issue, and it's not something that we started. Social class has been here. Now I think maybe because of social media, we're a little bit more aware of it. But when people, parents, the people themselves have invested in themselves, or parents have invested in their children, they want the best for their children. And that includes who their children will marry, the wealth that they've accumulated, who will be transferring that wealth to and taking it to the next level. So those are some of the things. And another point I want to talk on, Roger, if the guy is in his 40s and he happens to go to Afrotech and he meets a sister in her late 30s or 40s who doesn't want children, that's a cool match. Not everybody's looking for a family, not everybody, but people are 10 to 1. It's called assortative mating. People date and marry people on their same educational level, have the same job status or job prestige, socioeconomic status, all those things. So even as an entrepreneur, a lot of smart entrepreneurs marry a woman that has a finance background, maybe a lawyer, because she brings things to the table that a woman that can't be an asset won't do. So it varies on a lot of people, but birth rates are down, and these guys really sound to me that they need some serious counseling. It's no longer revenge of the nerds. Get over that high school hurt, that high school trauma, act like an adult, because if you're holding that against women, I don't believe that you're compartmentalizing enough to make it as director of IT for Facebook or for the city of Austin or whatever you're trying to do. I don't think that you probably have the interpersonal skills to navigate, because corporate is cutthroat. So if you're hurt by a girl from elementary school or high school, you wait till you get in corporate, where they do things where they sabotage you on the real, and you kind of navigate around that. So those things I think
actually, what you explain is exactly why it's the opposite of what you explain. And so it's amazing to me that you were able to say what you just did in such great detail and not get it. The average man, we didn't say every single one. The most men looking for a wife is looking for a woman to have a family with. Will there be a guy who already got kids that's grown that don't necessarily want a family? Sure. Will there be a guy, his wife has already died, who don't necessarily want a family? Sure. Will there be somebody who's already divorced and never want to deal with that again? Sure. But most men who want to get married want a family. So the whole thing is, men normally take care of women, and we do this to the day we die or to the day they die. Women aren't looking to do that. So the issue is the woman needs to be good enough for the man. I'm not saying you didn't say some intelligent things, but at the end of the day, who's trying to get who? The woman ain't trying to take care of me as a man. I know that going in the door. No woman is trying to take care of me. I do have a responsibility to take care of her. A man who's put a lot of work into being a success is not looking for a loser. And when I say loser, it happens before you 30. But if you make it to 30 years old as a sister and ain't nobody married you, you are absolutely a loser. And you need to figure out why you're losing so you can start figuring out a way to possibly still win if there's a chance to do so. The man who invested in his son, of course, he don't want his daughter with a loser. So therefore, she automatically don't qualify. The guy who invested in his daughter, he don't want any random dude messing with her. So at the end of the day, how do you get the men who are willing to take care of you in the position that you believe is comfortable enough for you to be taken care of in? It is not my job to care about what I purchase. I don't care about the feelings of what I purchase. When I purchase something, I'm purchasing something because I like it. If I'm going to take care of a woman, I'm going to take care of that woman because I like her. If I don't like her, I'm unwilling to take care of her. So when the woman shows up at these places or any other place, their job is to be good enough for the men who's there that they're trying to have accept them. The issue is y'all try to make it where it's about a man being good enough or a man being rejected. Y'all just insult black men. And I'm not saying you personally, but most people do it due to their white supremacist thinking. It's about what man can the woman gain acceptance of? At the end of the day, we all take care of the women for the most part. And until women want to change that, who cares what they think on that subject? You're not going to take care of me, so I don't have to consider your whole viewpoint of me taking care of you. I'm going to tell you what I have to offer. If you don't like it, so what? It's just off the table to you. My life don't change in any significant way. She's trying to get her life to change so a man will invest in her. So we're looking at everything backwards, and I don't even get why.
Let me just say that I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to go over to Brother Hatchet as we get close to closing out the show. I think, Ray, you had made mention of this quote here. Successful career planning requires that you strategize, right? You create a strategy to position yourself. That would fit into what you're saying, Roger. If you're saying that as a man, that we already know that we're going to take care of women. We don't live in a society in which there's an expectation that women are going to take care of us, that we have to bring resources to bear to take care of them and protect them and what have you, and provide shelter and all these different traditional things. Then this is exactly right. You're basically saying that women who want more higher caliber men, they need to create a strategy to position themselves to bring something to the table, to achieve the success in the relationship that requires the same kind of effect. So that woman, you just don't want someone who doesn't measure up, but you want someone that does measure up. And therefore, those women that want these type of men, they do need to think about how they need to prepare themselves personally to measure up to that level of that type of man. Because at the end of the day, you're right. At the end of the day, when she attracts that man and he takes an interest in her, it's actually ultimately that man's responsibility, especially if he marries her. Let's get that now he is going to be in a contract, because you know marriage is a contract. He's going to be in contract to take care of that woman and be responsible for her. Brother Hatchet, given what you've heard so far, and you've been at Afrotech, you said it was wonderful. You said it was 75% mostly women. So if you were a man, you got your pick of the litter. I would pick of the of the lot. I would think. When you were there, did you observe, or I don't know how you can figure this out. Did it appear like some of these women that were there were of more tech quality, meaning most of the women that were there were actually in tech versus women that were just showing up for the parties to attract the men? But was there an overwhelming number of women that were of, standard?
Most women who were there for the conference. The high majority of women who were there for the conference. But there are some people who go for the part. They're good parties. I'm just not going to concede to the point that good people don't like to have fun. The parties are
Hell
fun.
yeah, they do. Hell yeah, they do.
Oh yeah. So if not tech, maybe finance, educated.
Right.
Educated and professional. The high majority educated and professional. Some were dancing on the floor. Some were at the bar with the drink.
And that's what Ray was saying. He's saying that you've got women that are nurses, that are, they may not be in tech, but they're in some other type of profession that still is equal.
Bingo.
Thank you.
You put it perfectly. Hey, Ray, are you from New York, Ray? Because you mentioned a couple of New York schools. I just wonder if you're from New York. Okay, you're probably busy. All right. So,
Ray, where are you?
No, I'm not from New York. I'm from Texas.
Okay,
but I'm familiar with some of the circles I go into, and people I've mentored have gone to Ivy League schools. And we're familiar with the Ivy League. And I'm also familiar with the California schools. My mother, lived in California for a good while. I went to elementary school in Los Angeles, so a few years. So what I'm saying is that we are, we pointed it out. We're in a situation, and I do hear where you come from, Brother Roger. We're in a situation where we're trying to invest in developing our boys to be excellent men. We're trying to put these things together for them. So for them to rise up to be these excellent fathers that they can be. So as, what's that brother named Robert, the brother from Brookings Institution, Richard Reeves, who talks about the importance of investing in Black boys early, educational development, mentoring and all that. We're 100% into that. That's Alpha Phi Alpha. You're a member of that fraternity. My pastor is a member of that fraternity. We're trying to do those things, but we have to look at the things that are happening holistically in our community, as quote the brother named the General says, and we have to invest in these boys and be aware of what's going down. And when I just heard these people attack in general all these women, and I'm glad Andre was there even as a journalist, and he's also an entrepreneur. I'm familiar with him. He was showing that the women were there who were in tech. You shown, brother information man, that the majority, the 51% of the Black STEM students are women, and it goes into up to above 60%.
Yeah, let me put that stat back up. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it.
I'm hopping real quick. So one of the things that I see people talking about is you don't want the leftover. You don't want to be someone's leftovers. You don't want to be the second choice. You don't want them to want you for X, Y, Z. So shout out to Kevin Samuels. I actually used to moderate Kevin Samuels' Facebook group, The Mix, for the first 2 to 3
okay, cool.
years it was created. He said something. A woman can't get what you don't give her. So when we're talking about being used, she can't get what we don't give her. So we have to have our boundaries on what we're willing to give and what we're not willing to give. Right. I get rejected. I do well. So let me show you a picture information, man, just to give some context and some real life examples. So this is a woman I was friendly with for about 3 years, right? Most people would consider her a very good looking woman. She even came to my event, wore my shirt, great woman. Before I was dating her, I was rejected by a woman who I took on very nice dates, 5 or 6, just to be real, give details, no action. I was pursuing her for a relationship. She wasn't into me. 2 weeks later, I'm dating her. We got to get over stuff.
That's where I agree with you. Things are going to happen. Yeah, things are going to happen. You may not be happy about it.
And I took her on nice dates. I was pissed off. But you know what? The show goes on. We got to keep the show moving. And look, the only real difference, me personally, I've seen in women, I've dated women, 2-parent households, single-parent household, all the above.
Yes.
Is how much she's into me. Ideally, she would have these layers and it would be this perfect thing. But sometimes the woman who comes from the perfect household might be less into you than the woman who comes from the non-person households. And you have a better experience with the woman who comes from the non-perfect household. Somebody's into you. We just got to pick who's into us. Have she had some bad boys? I mean, probably. But what can we do about it now?
Right. Go ahead, Roger, report.
I think there's a lot we can do about it, truth be told. And this is where it gets touchy for a lot of brothers. We don't want to tell women they losers. The women who showed up and didn't get picked, they lost. It's something wrong with them. That's why they lost. It has nothing to do with a man who was there. He didn't want you because you weren't good enough. The issue that we have, especially amongst the Black community, we keep telling women that they're fine and they don't improve themselves. And guess what? If you improve yourself, somebody might take you at some point. Right. As a man, you got to understand, this is the guy who's saying, I'm willing to pay for you. If I'm going to marry you, even people that don't even necessarily go as far as marriage, if I'm going to have a relationship with you, if I'm going to even spend any money from time to time to take you out or do anything with you, even if I'm just having sex with you, there's no real relationship, but you're going to ask me for money from time to time. If I'm the person paying, I'm paying for what I want. If you're not what I want, it's because you don't qualify for me. If women don't like that, then we need to change it and women can start taking care of men. But until that day happens, it's not a male's issue. A lot of men, we have this natural thing where we want to protect women and we will even want to protect their feelings. The women who are complaining that they didn't make anything happen at their convention are just losers for that situation. Learn to go be a winner and come back or go to another market. You a loser right there. It is what it is. Either do something about it or cry. Either one ain't gonna change your life.
Yeah. Let me say this too, to Thurston for reading. I don't know how many of you brothers on the panel are gonna agree with me, but sister, a lot of brothers out here like Black women that are natural. I don't want fake booty. I don't want them fake BBL. I don't want none of that fake kind of stuff. And all them old spider eyelashes, a lot of that stuff, a lot of Black men in general, we don't really care for all of that stuff. We like to see who you are. As for me personally, I like to see who a woman really is. All the extra stuff. Of course, we are attractive to curves and beauty, but I'm more attracted to a woman's natural beauty than all this fake Cirque du Soleil paint job when you don't really know what the woman looks like. And then, that's just my opinion on that part of it. But let me do this, Ray, because you brought this up and because we're going to get ready to close out. Let me play this video, this letter that this woman wrote to students at Princeton, because I've heard brothers talk about this on the YouTube streets about finding that diamond in the rough in school or wherever you are, because a lot of these Black men that go on whether it be higher education or skilled trades or business or whatever they do, they were among you at one point in time, and you got to get the radar on how to identify them a lot sooner, especially in your younger years. And let's play this. Hopefully you brothers will appreciate this too.
Went to Princeton, that letter aimed at young women on campus, telling them where to find the perfect husband. ABC's Lindsay Janis has been on this story, and tonight she has reaction already pouring in from so many of you.
It's the letter making waves not just on Princeton's campus, but across the country, because it's filled with advice like this. Here's what nobody is telling you. Find a husband on campus before you graduate. Susan Patton, the author of the open letter to the school's newspaper, was one of the first women to graduate from the Ivy League school.
It was just intended to suggest to these young women who are on campus today, keep an open mind, look around you. These are the best guys.
As Patton puts it, ultimately, it will frustrate you to be with a man who just isn't as smart as you. Princeton women told us she has a point, but they're not choosing husbands yet.
I don't think her entire point is completely wrong. Girls do want to date guys who are as smart or smarter than them, but in practicality, we are all way too young to be getting married now.
The letter is also stirring up intense debate online and on the street. One woman writing to us saying, "I'm a 41-year-old single woman, and I would advise any freshman in college the same." But another writes, finding a husband is not the point of going to college. As for the moms we spoke with,
it does hark back to an earlier time when women were expected to be going to college to get their MRS degrees.
I would have said the same thing. In fact, I did say the same thing. Of course, nobody listened to me.
Well, Susan Patton didn't follow her own advice and marry a Princeton grad. She recently divorced, but David, she's thrilled that her...
So guys, I just wanted to show that because when I was in college, I actually I said it earlier in the show, I met my wife at the time in college. I think you go to college, you go to school to get an education, but it's also a social outlet. We talked about that earlier when you came on, Brother Hatch, that it's a social outlet. I got to be honest. I find it more difficult being out of that social situation at the school level to find the right type of woman out here versus that situation, because you had the parties, you had the social events. Brother Hatchett, I'm a member of Alpha Phi Fraternity Incorporated since spring 1989. And I can't tell you the women and other brothers and just black people in general that I met through the organization, going to the various social events that we had. It is important to the college experience for those of us who were able to go to college. It is important. It is a part of it. So that's where in that video I disagree. There was a statement saying, oh, you go to school for education. Yes, but all of that is a part of the whole experience of college.
And let me put this in there, Brother Information Man, is a lot of men also outside of the school realm. Some men aren't the best, don't have the best social skills. That's not an insult. It's just reality, especially some people who might have some of these tech jobs. They're not known for their big personalities. It's also a great place just to meet some bros. I met 3 to 4 cool dudes who I got their information with, and we've been staying in touch. So it's not just for the woman. Get out and meet people. If you're having a hard time meeting friends in life, just straight up friends, these are great places to meet humans, not just members of the opposite sex.
I appreciate that. Let me just say this. As we get ready to close out, I appreciate you coming up, Brother Roger Report, and expressing your thoughts, your opinions, your point of view. I'm very glad that Brother Hatchett came around, because you were able to fill in the blanks in certain areas as it relates to Afrotech, which I think is fantastic. I wanted to keep going. And the reality is, brothers, when you got your shit together, women are coming for you. That's why I was saying what I said earlier. I wasn't trying to sound all like arrogant or anything, but the truth of the matter is, you guys say this all the time on these social media streets. When you got yourself together as a brother, they gonna be looking for you. They're gonna be trying to find themselves in your spaces. Now, the question again, like Brother Roger says, Ray, you got to make sure that they qualify for what you're looking for. That's obvious. But I want to thank you all for coming up. Ray, any last words? Because once again, Ray, another classic here. You always bring up these topics that you send to me, and we talk about them. Because another topic that we did, gentlemen, was about high value Black women who are working in corporate America. You know, they're making high salaries. Will they accept a blue collar, a brother who's blue collar? You know, a plumber, electrician. Those are honorable jobs, and they make a lot of money. That was a video that we did prior to this one. So he always brings me these very interesting topics that we get into every blue moon. But Ray, take it all from there, brother, as we close out.
Yeah, I appreciate that you did the video podcast live stream today. I really think it was excellent. Thank you for Andre and Roger Report coming on as well. It's just showing that we need to put that information out, and you're one of the few sources that doesn't follow the crowd. You're very independent. Most of these videos that were coming out, everybody was, in my view, attacking these women. When those people who are successful, who have a success mindset, they know the importance of strategy. And so we weren't upset about that. And if you're a successful man, if you've known how to maneuver, you know when people are coming at you for the wrong reason, or you'll learn that. But to just blatantly attack a very good event on spurious terms was just out of order. And I really appreciate you, brother. And, you know, when you pull things together, information, man, it's just amazing how people like Brother Andre, Brother Roger Report came in and added such great insights and kind of put a whole picture in it. I really appreciate you for that, man. You did excellent.
Yeah. I wanted to bring them up, brother. I know he used to go by the name Brother Truth. He was here. I wanted him to come up because I know he had some heartfelt things to say. Let me say peace and respect to Party God. What's going on, brother? Thank you for coming over. I appreciate you. Don't trip off of my video camera is moving. It's StreamYard, because my other streaming system, I don't have these problems. I can look at it right now. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard. They add really cool features, but they still don't get other things right, like your audio or like your picture getting all kind of weird, like I'm moving like I'm a robot or something. I hate that. But I appreciate everybody in the chat room, a view for a view who's coming over. Those of you that are coming in a little late, make sure you watch the replay of this so that you get the full perspective. And I'm glad that we had brothers like Brother Hatchet on, Brother Rogers, of course, Ray, because you're getting different perspectives. And what I appreciate is that we weren't screaming at each other, even if we might have different opinions about this subject matter. We were speaking about this intelligently and respectfully with each as brothers on these YouTube streets, and I think that's excellent. But let me do this, since I have some of you here, Brother Hatchet. Let everybody know where they can find you. Do you still have a YouTube channel?
I do. Yeah.
All right. Tell them about your background, because I know you're in business. Very intelligent brother.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys. Great discussion, Brother Roger, Brother Ray. Great job, Brother Information Man. 42 years old, currently in Atlanta from New York. I've had a notary business for almost 20 years. Homeowner for 20 years, actually, last month. And I've been teaching people how to start their own notary business for the past 10 years. And I do a lot of personal development, business coaching. I've done a lot of work with Dr. Boyce Watkins, Julian Gordon. I taught classes for Earn Your Leisure University.
Yeah.
And I'm on YouTube. Andre C. Hatchet. I wrote several books. And yeah, man, continue the great work, Information Man.
All right, brother. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on board. Now, take care of yourself, brother. Thank you. Don't be a stranger, too. Let's go over to Roger Report. I know you have a YouTube channel. You get into hard cutting issues around these sort of similar subjects. Let people know where they can find you.
All right, very simple. Y'all can just go on YouTube, The Roger Report Live. I'm on a few other social medias, but YouTube is the main spot at The Roger Report Live. So easy to find. It's gonna be the first one that pops up. And I do appreciate the discussion, but I do think, like I said, as men, because men are leaders, protectors, and providers.
Yes.
And I'm not saying I'm not blaming any particular person. When it came to media and what black men had available to them to push in media has been limited over time. What we have not done as men was tell women that they need to actually be good enough that somebody's willing to pay for you. Because it's all going to come down to what are you willing to pay for? When you go car shopping, you buy the car that you can afford or you buy the car that you can like. You do not buy the car that you don't have the money for. When you look for a job, you make sure you're good enough to be employed by the employer. Some people had to create their own job because nobody wanted to employ them. So they had to come up with their own business. It's good they got their own business and they kind of flourished even in some cases. But the thing was, nobody wanted them. So if women want a man to take care of her, it is her responsibility to be good enough to attract the man. All this about men ain't this and men ain't that, it don't make a difference what he is. If he can't speak, you better help him. If he's an introvert, you better help him be a little bit more extrovert. It's your job as a woman to help him with something. So the easier it is to spot out his deficiencies, the better of a chance you will have. Do something where you're actually appreciated, so he won't leave you in 30 years like a lot of women be worried about. Do you want him to stick around and appreciate you for you actually putting in some work to help him become the man he is? Because someone like myself as an old man, ain't nothing you can do for me that's gonna make me appreciate you like you was there in the beginning. Like, there's nothing you can do at this point. You know, I'm not saying I would do a woman dirty. I'm just saying realistically, when men are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, ain't nothing you can do for these guys. A lot of men, even in their 30s, there's really nothing you can do for him to appreciate you a certain way.
Roger, I'm 55 years old and I'm very independent, and there's not a lot that I depend on a woman for. I mean, I'm not one of these guys like, I can't survive. I can't. Right. But when you said something that was key to me, but when I meet a woman who has a quality that I appreciate and does things for me that I appreciate, not that I'm dying, you know, I'm desperate, but when I do find a woman like that, especially as you get older, because, you know, you made mistakes through your younger years and you begin to appreciate when you get or have a woman in your life that provides those certain things that you're talking about, you appreciate it more when you do have it. So I do agree with you. Everybody, once again, check out the Roger Report on YouTube. He gets into these hard-hitting issues on his channel. Appreciate you coming over. I'm glad that you were able to give your thoughts and your opinion. So I appreciate you, brother, for coming over, and I'll be checking you out over there very soon.
And thank you for allowing me up. Have a good rest of your night. Appreciate it.
Oh, no problem, brother. Thank you. Let me clap for you. Thank you. Now, Ray, I got to say this to you, Ray. Once again, thank you for always sending me these topics. I know there was another topic that we were supposed to talk about, and a lot of things were going on with me at that time. A lot of things that were happening, family-related stuff, you know, where I wasn't able to go live with you on those subject matters. But we'll keep it moving with other subject matters, because I know that whenever you send me an email about a particular topic, I know it's going to be one that's going to intrigue the audience. It'll be one that will be controversial. I warned everybody that today's show would have a certain controversial flavor to it for some people. But we got to talk about these issues, you know, even if you may disagree or agree with certain things, we still have to talk about these issues. But Ray, as we get ready to close out, brother, I forgot to play this last little video clip, and let's play this last. What's going on, Glow? It's been a minute since I've seen you. So good to see you. What's going on? Peggy, thank you. A lot of people making some good points in the chat room today. But let me play this little clip right here, Ray.
First comment says, Afrotech supposed to be about making business connections and furthering your career. They down there effing selling BS courses. Another comment says, I'm confused. Why are we shaming black women for wanting to attend Afrotech to simultaneously network and meet a potential partner? What's the real issue here? Other than it being obnoxiously broadcast and in many ways overshadowing our metrics someone may want to attend.
All right. So at the end of the day, Ray, sticking with your point from earlier, it isn't anything really wrong with women going to places to choose men of high quality, of education, of status, whatever. Like you said, you're right. We all have some level of status. That's just part of life. And if many of us were living thousands of years ago, a lot of us will be in a shit. A lot of us will be looking from the window outside in, because everything was about status thousands of years ago. You know, when you go back and you look at ancient societies, everything was about status with marriage and the men who were able to attract certain women. But Ray, thank you again. And any last thoughts, Ray, before I hit the end of the stream button?
Everything's good, man. I enjoyed being on today. You did an excellent job. Great topic. And, I'm sure when we get a chance, we'll get to go over some other topics as well. But I really appreciate you for bringing this live stream up and the work that you do in a variety of areas, and just continue to be great in what you're doing, and bless us with your work.
Right. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate that. So everybody, Ray has come in, he's kind of the producer of this content. He sends me emails. We talk about it. I look at the materials that he sends, and then I put the stream together, but he gives the information that we're going to talk about. And so sooner than later, folks, we'll have another video with me and Ray sometime down the line, whenever, there's another great topic that he wants to touch on. However, I will be doing my other topics of issues that are going on in the world that I'll be broadcasting. Also, everybody, if you're interested in, Colorado will make it to a bowl game this year. They didn't make it to the Big 12 championship, but check out my other channel, Prime Sports Media, and subscribe to that channel as well. That's the football sports channel centered around Colorado, Prime, Coach Prime and the whole thing going over there. Check that out. I've also rebranded the Info Media Reacts channel. I will be loading some new content over there very soon as well. I haven't done anything over there in maybe a month. A lot of the videos went well for me over there, and I'm going to be doing some more content over there as well. So I want to thank everybody in the chat room, all the mods. Copper, thank you for coming through, sir. Fierce for reading, thank you for coming over and supporting the channel. Chaos Rain Show, thank you. Glow. We got my man, the real Aaron Collins. It's really good to see you in the chat room, brother. I respect you. I hope everything is doing well. Hope you're doing well in your family. Ray Alexander, again, for coming up and blessing the channel today with this content. Copper, he's the one that told us that, hey, he'd been married since 1979. It's about, and I agree with you, sir, it's about friendship, building relationship through a foundation of friendship. That's what it's about. And I appreciate you for saying that, sir. I do not take what you said for granted. Thank you, Alicia. She says it was a great live. I'm going to end the live, everybody. I want you all to have a great week. Well, today is Sunday, so have a great rest of your week. And I'll see you very soon on any one of my channels that I go live on. And I appreciate you all. So everybody, let's hit that clap button. And y'all take care. Have a good one, everybody. Peace.